Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Program Career Mode Episode 8. In this episode, we are going to the Mun. If we do everything correctly, we should gather about 350 science points to unlock several other nodes on the tech tree. I need to build a ship to carry at least two Kerbals, Jeb and Bob. I need Jeb to fly the ship and Bob to reset all of the science modules so they can be used several times. Another option would have been to use a probe module to fly the ship. I am going to speed things up because this would be a long video if I did not. Here I am making sure that I have all the science stuff, and I am including electrical power. While I was flying this mission, I realized that I forgot to include a communications antenna. The design of the lander has 4 fuel tanks on girders to provide a wide base for landing. I include a Terrier engine at the bottom of those tanks, and then include a landing gear on each. The next part of the rocket will use the larger fuel tanks with a Poodle engine. This stage will be used to finish reaching a stable orbit around Kerbal and to transfer to the Moon. The next stage uses 2 larger fuel tanks and a skipper engine. Then, I add 4 side couplers to add 4 boosters. I use the external fuel ducts to keep the central stack topped off until the boosters are ejected. Oops, the ship is too heavy. I will need to upgrade the launch pad before I will be able to launch this rocket. I am going to stop the burn while still in suborbital flight and eject the current stage. This allows the stage to burn up in the atmosphere or crash back to the planet. This keeps the space junk to a minimum. Now, it is time to plan the burn to the Moon. On our way, it will take a minute to burn until the orbit intersects with the moon's gravitational influence. Let's perform some small, short burns to fine-tune the approach to the moon. Let's see if we can gather some science from high above Kerbal. Bob is going to have to use his jetpack to get close enough to reset the science modules. I am really out of practice with using the jetpacks. I set up a maneuver node to plan the burn to establish orbit around the moon. Once I have warped the node, I can perform the burn to establish a somewhat circular orbit at around 30 to 40 K. Once we are in orbit of the moon, we can perform more science. Once we have performed all of the available science, we can send out Bob to reset the science modules so they can be used again. Time to land the ship. I want to land on the sunlit side, and I think I will land in one of the giant craters along the orbital path. Once I warp to a point above the rim of the crater, I can start burning to bring the flight path to end somewhere within the crater. Time to get rid of the transfer stage. It will crash into the surface and won't leave any space junk. As the ship approaches the surface, I will need to slow down until the speed is around 5 meters per second or less. Whoops! Came down a little hard, and the ship began to tip over. To save it, I increased thrust to increase altitude so I can try again. Much better. Now let's gather some more science. Once outside, I will have Jeb plant a flag. Zero out of 10 on that dismount. Need to practice. Thankfully, Jeb is okay. I don't want to go that direction. Thankfully, it is easy to turn around when taking off from the moon. Good. Now that I am in a stable orbit around the moon, I need to determine when I have performed the burn to go back to Kerbal. Looks like our satellite has been caught by the moon's gravitational pull. Oh well. Now that we are back in orbit around Kerbal, it is time to adjust it to be much closer. Then, I can adjust it for a water landing. Let's make sure that we collected all the science and stored it. I would hate to lose any science simply because I forgot to collect it. That's it. Got more than 400 science now. We will use the science points in the next episode. Thank you for watching.